Nice.
Welcome to the stream. We actually have multi-cam stuff set up, and this is looking fresh. We got a couple cam.
I gotta centralize. I gotta.
There you go.
There
you go.
We got a group cam. Alaister has hooked us up with this amazing setup. I'm John. I'm a DevRel at Supabase. And yeah, I get to do fun stuff like this and put people on the spot to make content for me.
Yep, I'm Alaister. I'm not on the DevRel team, but somehow end up on these streams, which is great. And yeah, just here to hang out. We've got some cool tips and tricks later, but first, we're going to be doing a bit of an interview for our CEO, Koppel.
Yep.
So who are you, Koppel?
I'm Koppel. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders with Ant.
And yeah, first thing we wanted to shout out is the awesome Replit team. Have put together this Ventures Builder Kit, which is $10,000 worth of grants and a whole bunch of weeks of mentorship to support people building cool new applications. So I recommend that you go and check that out, get involved. There are a whole bunch of awesome sponsors. So Supabase, along with some of our other dev friends like Stripe and Notion, people like that, are giving away just an amazing collection of tools and bits and pieces to get like even the more serious projects off the ground without any kind of monetary investment on your behalf. So special thanks to Jeff and Patrick from Replit for putting this one together.
For those who don't know what Replit is, a REPL is kind of like a live coding environment, and Replit basically make it super easy to get started with coding. Actually, it's one of their target audience. I think their goal is to bring the next billion developers online, which is an awesome mission. So you can literally launch like a dev environment inside the browser, and then it's collaborative. So you can invite your friends and you code together, and you can literally build directly from the browser. You can connect up your Supabase database, so you can query it. I think we've got actually a YouTube video showing how to do it, and so we're quite aligned in terms of mission. We definitely want to make it easier for developers to get started. So it's a very cool tool and definitely worth checking out.
Also, Thor put together this.
This is
Okay. This excellent little snippet from our new jingle for Supabase, which is our friends Scott and Wes over at Syntax singing our name on their podcast. Can you give us a little bit of a brief history about, I guess, Supabase, but also what were you doing just before Supabase and what kind of led you to this solution to your problems?
So actually originally probably easier to talk about how I started. I was a techie sort of throughout university. I went to university in Christchurch in New Zealand, but I started contracting at the time as well. So I've just been doing tech for a long time. And actually, funnily enough, I went back, I think, for our offsite to look at a bit of a personal history. And I actually pitched like a millionaire in New Zealand this idea for a database company, all the way back in like 2010 or something like that. So it's quite funny. This idea has obviously been brewing for a long time.
Yeah.
And then eventually moved to Singapore, where I was thinking about doing another business. I went to this thing, Entrepreneur First, and met my co-founder there. And we didn't work together, but we lived together for 1 year in this big hacker house. And we all went off and we were doing our own startups. So January 2020, we started working on it. We kind of launched and got into YC in April 2020, and then went through the summer program. And of course, that's when COVID was hitting. So we've just built the whole thing fully remote, which I think for us has been like a blessing in disguise. It's been quite good.
Thor has kind of a related question here. So how do you manage a fully remote team across so many time zones? And which is your favorite time zone?
Okay, well, management, I think the key is that we don't really manage or try to do as little management as possible. So we try to hire people who are going to be self-managing, I think, and we try to make sure that everyone can work quite autonomously, and also that people really love async work. So, they'll be able to identify areas of the business that they can work on, They don't need too much collaboration. And that's really how it's been so far. We're getting to a stage where, we need a lot more coordination because of the number of people. And now I don't know, what are some of the practices we do? We use Notion a lot. We use Slack a lot. Although the key really is that we're kind of dividing into teams, doing weekly syncs, one sync per team per week. You record the meetings and anyone can watch it. In fact, it kind of operates a little bit like an open source community itself internally. So that's, I think, been the way that we've managed to do it so far.
We have one from Jonathan saying, what do you talk about in the weekly syncs? I guess this is more like, running a business that is distributed across different teams that are working on different things. What are the structures of those weekly syncs and how long are those meetings usually?
Yep. Really, they're team-led, right? So the teams very much have a bit of autonomy on how they want to run their streams, but we're trying to make sure that all the company kind of operates on good processes. So it'll just be prioritization largely. For example, this week we've just set the goal for a future launch week. We've set the timeline, but we don't actually know what will ship on the launch week. So all the teams will go away. We just said, well, here's our priorities as a company. They'll help prioritize what the tasks will be, and the team themselves will talk about that in the weekly sync. And then we'll go away and maybe do, Ant myself, and we'll check across the board, are there some ways of synchronizing on the teams to work on things, and how do we prioritize? So there's nothing really that's too structured about the meetings. And how long are they? Ideally, the shorter the better. I have noticed that some of them are quite long. So those ones I tend to watch on 2x speed.
Well, he's actually here in the stream. He's saying who would win, Aussies or Kiwis?
At rugby, well, definitely the Kiwis. So,
all I have to say is let's find out.
Rory is probably in the gym, says Ian at the bottom. That's very likely. I think actually I messaged him literally an hour ago. He said, sorry, I'm at the gym.
If you didn't know, Rory is an absolute gun in the gym, and him cycling actually powers all of the servers at Supabase. So we definitely want to encourage him to keep going so the projects stay live. He powers the free tier.
Supabase. Super. Okay.